Hi, this is Scott from Chino Basin Water Conservation District here in the Waterwise Community Center demonstration garden with black sage, Salvia mellifera. Black sage is a local to many parts of Southern California, definitely local here in Southern California, native sage bush plant that has many benefits for growing in a home garden. Black sage is not one of the most common native sage plants that you will see growing in home gardens, but it has a number of factors that make it worth considering, so I'm going to tell you about them now. One of the factors that makes black sage absolutely lovely in the garden is that in the late winter to spring, it gets covered in these beautiful white blooms. And one of the things that makes black sage really worth considering in the garden is the fact that it comes into bloom very early, earlier than any of the other sages that we have here in the Waterwise Community Center demonstration garden. And so when it comes into bloom in the late winter, that provides a real vital source of nutrition to our early flying native pollinators, and the hummingbirds love it as well. And I almost forgot to mention, in addition to the pollinators, butterflies also really like to land on the flowers and use them as a nectar source. I just got totally distracted in this filming by butterflies that were landing on it and using it for just that purpose. Another thing that's lovely about the black sage aesthetically is that it has these darker green leaves. So many of our other favorite California native shrubs have beautiful white to silvery to very light foliage. And aesthetically, when you are placing those plants together, kind of in a garden design, too many light-colored species all right next to each other can kind of reduce the visual impact of those really beautiful light colors. And so by mixing in a few darker colored shrubs, you are able to really have everything pop more visually. Black sage, however, can get very large if it gets irrigation in the native garden. And you have a couple of options for how you would plant and work with black sage. If it gets irrigated maybe every 3 weeks in the summer, which is very common around here. Oftentimes our native gardens are watered every 3 to 4 weeks. And certainly if it gets irrigated any more than every 3 weeks, it will often grow quite large. This one here is probably about 12 feet wide. I've seen them get even wider with regular irrigation. However, your other option would be to place it somewhere where after establishment, it will get very little water. And in that case, whether it's really not watering at all, watering it every 4 or 5 weeks, it will stay smaller. However, in much of inland Southern California, it will also go very summer dormant looking. It'll shrivel up. It might look almost dead. However, as soon as weather cools off in the fall, it's going to have that lush growth again. So in that situation, it's a great habitat plant, great pollinator plant. However, you might want to put it kind of farther back in the landscape where it can go through that dormant phase and not be front and center through that. In addition to all of that, if you leave these flowers on to fade and develop seed, many different species of the smaller native songbirds will come around and eat the seeds just like many of the other sage varieties. What we recommend is allowing that to happen, allowing those dried seed heads to hold on and keep the maintenance low by then only trimming back black sage, including the spent seeds and maybe a third to half of the foliage part of the stem, the real leafy part, once a year in the fall to help contain that size a little bit and really keep it as compact as possible and looking good for the next season. So if you found this video helpful, be sure to check our other plant profiles on our channel and subscribe for much more plant and garden information coming your way soon.